Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to the world of Pokemon. I'm Professor Noki, and as I'm sure you've gathered by the thumbnail I chose for this video, today we're going to be going over the most recent controversy that affects every single YouTuber and consumer of YouTube content, being the COPPA law. COPPA, 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 whatever you'd like to call it at this point. I personally like to call it COPPA because it sounds like cop-out, which in my personal opinion is kind of what YouTube is doing with all the new regulations they're placing on videos. But I do digress, as before I get into my personal thoughts on this, I would like to break it down briefly for those of you who haven't been following along. Now at this point, there are plenty of other videos here on YouTube of other YouTube content creators who have broken this situation down in detail, and I will link to them in the description down below if you would like to check them out. So I'll spare you all the time and I won't go over every single little detail. However, the overall summary is that back in the 90s, when online internet privacy was starting to become a concern, there was a brand new law put into place to try to protect children in the online environment. And then, in the years since, many different platforms, such as YouTube, gained immense popularity among people of a wide range of ages, including young children. Though, at the same time, a lot of these exact same platforms were also starting to introduce targeted ads, which would actually track your online activity and then show you ads that pertain to that activity. Now, obviously, this spells a lot of trouble for the immense amount of children that are actually on and using this platform, as all of their browsing data was also being collected along the way and then being used to target ads at them as well. Which, honestly, in my own opinion, I'm actually somebody who's against a lot of the invasion of privacy that these big mega corporations are allowed and partake in against everybody, but it is very difficult to get behind any form of abuse of this power against children especially. Even more so when you consider all of the predatory environments that do exist here in the internet, especially here on YouTube with things like Elsagate. Now, due to YouTube pretty much ignoring this problem for over a decade, many content creators built entire platforms now, built entirely around kid-friendly content. On top of the fact that for many years, YouTube itself went after content creators that were not kid-friendly enough. However, just over a year ago, a number of child advocacy groups came together to stand against YouTube and their practices against children's privacy. And as such, they involve the FTC, as they are the ones responsible for implementing and upholding all of the regulations of COPPA compliance. Then, in a huge blow to YouTube and Google as a whole, they actually lost in court against the FTC, and as of September had to pay out over $170 million in settlement to them. And as part of this loss, YouTube was ordered to come up with a solution to figure out how to remove all of the targeted ads from children-friendly content. Which then brings us to the last couple of weeks or so, which I personally can attest as a content creator. I started seeing this very strange trickle of new information and prompts being presented to me. Now, at first, I really didn't know what to think of it, as YouTube constantly goes through privacy and policy updates, so I figured this was just another one of those, and since my channel itself is not directed solely to children, I didn't honestly think this would impact me. That is, however, until I started seeing a few other YouTubers posting videos about their concerns about this law. And at first, it was just a couple of gaming-related channels posting how they were concerned that their content was going to be misconstrued as child-friendly. Then I started seeing it across all content types. Lego build videos, arts and crafts, a father and son duo video, animation videos, claymation videos, cartoon videos, toy review videos. Videos that use flashy colors, flashy songs, videos that use animated characters in any way, shape, or form, the aforementioned video game channels, let's plays, and so much more. In fact, if it can be perceived on any level that your video applies to children in any way, shape, or form, whether that be to a primary market or in a secondary fashion, it can be flagged as child-friendly. And if you voluntarily mark your video as child-friendly, you lose pretty much all visibility on the platform whatsoever. You don't have the ability to have comments posted on your videos. You don't have the ability to have your videos saved and shared to playlists. Your videos and channel will no longer appear in suggested feeds or even search results. And due to the fact that you'll no longer be allowed to have targeted ads on your videos, you will actually potentially lose up to 90% of your monetization income source. Now, personally, I wasn't too worried about monetization as I'm not big enough to monetize, and I honestly never had intentions on monetizing as I don't really like the idea of having ads on my videos. However, my biggest concern and what I can see as the biggest detriment to this entire community is the fact that channels like mine and many others that seek to provide quality, family-friendly content that has value to people of all walks of life will become virtually invisible on YouTube altogether. And on top of that, our ability to form a community or commentary and gain feedback on our videos directly will be completely and utterly taken away altogether. Now, for me personally, this is very disheartening, as I have poured a lot of work and time and money and resources into the development of this channel over the last 6 months. And even though it's been a slow growth at times, I have been motivated by the fact that people are still coming and watching my videos, interacting, liking, commenting, sharing, and I have had high hopes that I could continue to grow and develop my own community of like-minded individuals who love Pokemon just as much as I do. But quite honestly, the incentive won't really be there to continue making this content, especially as frequently as I've been making it, if it won't even appear in search results, or suggested video feeds, or I can't even interact with the people who are actually watching my videos in the comment section. And although I do this as pretty much a hobby at this point, I pour so much of my life, heart, and soul into it, and it is very disappointing that YouTube is taking such a shortcut, cop-out route to try to fix a problem that they themselves avoided for so long. And I'm just some no-name channel with 20 plus subscribers who's only been going at this for less than a year, having around 100 videos under my belt. I cannot imagine the way that many other content creators are feeling. People who have been on here for 5 to 10 years, put forth thousands of videos, pumped endless hours and money and time and devotion into the content they've poured onto this platform. And then to have all of that taken away because their content focuses around Pokemon or Mario or SpongeBob SquarePants even. I mean, what if baseball was still as popular as it once was and children were collecting baseball cards everywhere? Would they really start silencing baseball-related YouTube content? I don't know, it just seems absolutely crazy how endless this rabbit hole could really go and how far-reaching all of the implications of this could be. And I have seen a lot of people here on YouTube telling people not to worry, we don't know anything yet, to wait and see until the whole thing passes through for sure. But to be honest, I really don't understand that, as September was when the settlement was reached, and essentially at that point, the entire conversation was done and over with. Now, I know the FTC does have a commentary section up on their website where you can go and leave a comment about how you feel about all the changes that are coming down the pipeline. And who knows, maybe if enough voices rise up and cry out, some changes could be made that might save us ultimately from losing this platform. And essentially, we only have a couple of weeks left to really find out where the direction of all of this is headed, as the deadline for entering your comment is December 9th, and I'm sure they'll have some form of official ruling and direction, therefore afterwards. Though, there is no doubt in my mind that as of January 1st, massive changes are coming to YouTube, and many of them will impact pretty much every single YouTube content creator who has tried to create family-friendly content for the last decade. I do want to make it clear that I'm not trying to frighten anybody by any means. I just want to bring awareness to the fact that this is taking place. And I know from my experience in the PokeTube community especially, this could be an absolute devastating blow to this community as a whole. And at the end of the day, most of us content creators might end up having to find an alternate platform to display and broadcast all of the creative content that we like to make. For my own channel and the future of it, I have been very hard at work deliberating on how exactly I'm going to move forward with all of these changes. And ultimately I'm going to wait until we know for sure which direction it's headed, but if everything does turn for the worse, I do think the best route for me to go would probably to turn towards live streaming on Twitch. Whether this be for Let's Plays of Pokemon, or how-to videos, Poke Education lecture videos, or anything else that I already do on this channel, I could try to find some way to implement that into a live stream environment as well. But for now, I fully intend to continue to make content here on YouTube, and also at the same time raise awareness that we all have to be lifting our voices and letting the FTC know that we all understand that YouTube definitely needs to make changes to protect the privacy of children, but that does not mean it has to take away the rights and ability for content creators all across the board to be family friendly and also still make a living off this platform. Either way, I'm sure I've rambled long enough, and there are plenty of other videos that are covering this topic in detail that I definitely suggest you check out. And if you have interest in checking out any of my upcoming live streams, this weekend I will be broadcasting a couple of times, probably over on Twitch, to check out how that platform works overall. Though I do intend on posting a video here on YouTube letting everybody know the details. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, this has been Professor Noki, signing out once again for the midweek discussion on Noki Talks.